Hello everyone, I hope that you are doing well. Today, I don't really have a plan for this video. I just wanted to come on here and chat a little bit about a couple of different topics which have been on my mind. So this video might be a little bit rambly. I'm just gonna warn you in advance. But there are a couple of things which, in the last couple of weeks really have been weighing me down, especially since everything went down with the ICE agents and you just saw so many people being terrified, so many kids being treated so horribly for nothing, being ripped apart from their parents, and so many parents or just so many adults being afraid for their lives just over nothing. And I don't understand any of it. And you feel so tiny and you feel so helpless, and so yeah, I wanted to kind of dump my feelings on here. And I know I'm not going to change the world with this video or make a difference in any sort of way, but I thought that I'd just ramble on a little bit. Every time I turn on the news, I don't understand anything that's going on. And obviously the answer is always, it's because of money. Everything is always because of money. And also, there's so much patriotism, and I don't understand any of it. Maybe it's because I am someone who, I'm not someone who feels proud just towards anything. I don't feel much pride. I'm not a proud person, and especially not for my country. I don't feel proud of my country. I would never stand somewhere with my spine upright and say I'm proud of my country, because at the end of the day, what do I have to do with this country? Yes, I speak the language, yes, I pay taxes, yes, I'm a citizen, I have papers, but what do I have to do with this country? And don't get me wrong, I understand if you love the culture, if you love growing up, but if you loved growing up there, wherever you live, I understand that. I feel where I live, I like that I grew up here. I like this country for different types of reasons, but I'm not proud of it because, as I said, I have nothing to do with it. I did not make this country. It belongs to the earth, and I did not choose to be born here. It's just as random as it is how I look, where I am, which family I was born into. I had nothing to do with it. Unless before I was born, a sim character developer opened up and my soul chose everything about me, then I'm gonna take everything back. But if that did not happen, I had nothing to do with any of these things. It's random. And also, if you were born into a Western wealthy country, you have so much privilege. You have so much privilege, and you should just read the fucking room sometimes, because if you would have been born in any other country that's not as privileged, there's so many people who have it so badly, who are suffering on a daily basis, who have nothing, who have to live in dirt and poverty and have no options, who can't go to school, who can't get a degree, who can't even get jobs, who have to get through the day in misery a lot of the times. And you sit here with your privileged ass, and you are gonna complain and call these people who come into your country and call them illegal and call them immigrants and make them feel like they're not worthy of being a human. I'm sorry, but I don't understand this. There's not a single bone in my body that understands any of this, and I don't understand how we can go after these people, traumatize them, make them afraid every single day just for having been born somewhere else that maybe a country that didn't give them many chances, and now they want to start over somewhere for themselves, for their family. And you choose, who are you? Who are you? You are just as much of a human as they are. It's just, I spawned somewhere on this random planet, on this floating globe in the middle of this galaxy. Just think about that for a second. You just spawned randomly on some day, on a sunny day, you spawned on this earth, on this floating globe, or on a wintry day. I don't know when you were born. That's not the point. Again, you spawned somewhere random. Where you were born already predicts so much of the privileges you have and don't have. A long time ago, someone stood somewhere on this planet and drew some random lines and called it a border and gave this piece of land some gibberish name. And you think that this makes any sense, and you think that it's okay that by whether you are in front of that border, behind that border, that predicts how much you are worth as a human being and which privileges you are allowed to have. How does that make sense? If aliens came onto this planet, how would you describe that to someone and rationalize it? I'm sorry, but I don't understand it. We cannot choose where we are born. We cannot choose what we look like, what families we are born into. But what we have power over is our characters and our personalities. And if you decide to be a racist person who thinks they are standing above everything and everyone else, I'm sorry, but isn't that more of a crime than someone coming into your country and working illegally? What do you mean? How does one thing justify the other? It goes above and beyond me. I did not choose if I was born in France, in Spain, in New York, in Shanghai, in, I don't know, wherever, wherever. But what I can choose is the way that I treat people. And if you judge people by that, by how they look, what language they speak, and you reduce them to something as irrelevant as that, I'm sorry, but what does that say about you as a human being? Do you genuinely feel okay with that? It drives me insane. It drives me insane. Why do you have so much pride over something that is so stupid and such a man-made concept? Shouldn't we're all humans. We could live in fucking peace and harmony. But no, just because you speak that language, just because you have this skin tone, you are not worthy to be here. And then we go and we bomb another country and try to justify it with, oh, the regime is so horrible. But what do? Yes, we bomb a school of little girls and we kill little girls, little children who, again, have nothing to do with anything. And I know that a lot of people always say, oh yeah, but these people, they come into the country and then they commit crimes and do horrible things. I'm not saying, obviously, if you go somewhere and you bring pain onto other people and you do horrible things and you commit crimes, obviously that makes you trash. That makes you a big trash of a human being. Okay, I'm not bringing this topic into any conversation because this is not what I'm trying to talk about. But I'm talking about people who just come into some country and try to make a living for themselves, try to change their lives for the better. And we can't be surprised if a lot of them don't become part of your country's culture or whatever, because how much of a chance do they get when they come here and then no one is willing to speak to them because they are not fluent, they speak a different language, they look different. Probably a lot of them from the first day they arrive, they already feel like outsiders, and then they go and they do all the shitty jobs that all the privileged white people don't want to do. They work their asses off, and then they still are being made to feel like outsiders, like they're not worthy, despite them working their freaking asses off and again doing all the shit that the white Westerners probably don't want to do. And then you go and arrest them for being illegal and not having papers. I have absolutely no idea where, I have no end to this video. I feel so much anger and so much sadness because, again, I think I've said it a million times on this video, I don't understand any of it. I don't understand why people are so cruel to each other. Why, this earth is such a beautiful place. There are so many people who just want to live. They just want to make a good life for themselves. And this place, I still believe that this earth is a beautiful place. We could live in peace and harmony and it could feel like heaven on earth. It's so beautiful here. And there are so many amazing people out there. Maybe this is what I'm trying to say as I am ranting. Don't lose hope and be nice to each other and take care of each other. And I also know that if you grew up in a household that had certain views, certain beliefs, it's difficult to detach yourself from them and to maybe start seeing the world through your own eyes and start asking yourself, what do I really believe and what are my genuine beliefs outside from the things that I have been, outside of the ideas that I've been raised into. It is a very difficult thing to do. I work with kids and I see it with them. And maybe what I'm trying to say, there are so many horrible things that are happening. And I just want to say, please be nice to each other. Please, if you go out there and you see injustice happening, obviously don't put yourself in danger, but try to be maybe a helping hand to someone. Maybe just be kind to someone who needs it. Because I think this is what we need in these times, just to be kind to each other and to take care of each other. Because we're all just humans, and I think most of us just want to live a peaceful life, and we all just want to be happy. And we could all be so much more content if we just reach out to each other and take care of each other and, start being nicer to each other.